giving you useful and practical tips to help you make more money selling travel. This is the Art of Selling Travel podcast, and here to guide you through it all, your host, Glenda Beagle.
You are in for a treat today. See, a few months ago, I got the opportunity to present it wasn't live, a virtual workshop, and it was all on service fees. But here's the scoop. I did it from the perspective of how it can enhance the client experience. Yep, you heard that right. It's not about you, but rather how you charging fees to your client can make the experience better for your client. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let you listen to that keynote. Hello and welcome. I'm excited to talk about fees. Now, here's the thing. If you are like 1000% against charging fees, I'm not here to change your mind. I am going to tell you a little bit of my story and other such about why fees are so important and why I think that every travel advisor should at least consider it. Now, maybe you're already charging fees, but you're not sure if you should charge enough, or you're wanting to, but a little bit hesitant because of all the things that it might mean. And I'm here to help you walk through that. Now, for those that don't know me, my name is Glenda, and I have been selling travel for nearly 20 years. And actually, I've stepped away from that for the most part because I now am really and truly embracing being a full-time sales trainer for the travel industry under the brand Art of Selling Travel. I am here to talk to you today about how it is that fees can actually enhance the client experience. Now, possibly you're sitting on the other side of this screen thinking, you want my clients to pay more so that the experience is better? Well, that tends to be what happens with almost everything in travel. If you pay to upgrade to a balcony versus an inside stateroom on a cruise line, their experience is probably going to be better. The same is true going from economy to business class and all of the things in between. But I want to talk today about a lot of the most common reasons why people don't want to, and kind of how we're going to overcome that. So before we get started, if you're not already charging or you're not comfortable charging them, I really want to know why. And that's something that I'm going to really encourage you to take a moment and write out why. Because I can't change anything and you can't change anything if we don't understand why it is that we're doing something. In fact, recently here, I was personally facing a major struggle within my own business. And as I said to a friend of mine, I said, I am totally scared spitless and at the same time, completely overwhelmingly excited that I can't wait for this to happen. And she reminded me something that I've known for years, but it just sometimes takes somebody else reminding us that it's not, or that our brains can't tell the difference between scared and excited. It actually triggers the same part of the nervous system. What we can do is decide which one we want to lean into, which one it is that we want to have be that core emotion. So I'm going to challenge you. If you're feeling that it's fear, you're feeling that it's nerves, if you're feeling anything other than true excitement and happiness, I want you to maybe choose to get excited about it. And that's what this next 20 minutes or so is going to be all about. So let's start with some of the most common reasons why I've heard other travel advisors say that they can't charge them. Nobody else in my area is charging service fees. Well, I'm going to push back on that a little bit. Have you interviewed every single travel advisor in your area? Now, the next question is what is your area? Is your area just a chunk on a map? Or are you in a digital world where you're promoting yourself on social media, building email lists, and reaching out to clients that are more than just, say, a 20-minute drive away? I actually, when I owned my brick and mortar agency, I had moved it right onto Main Street and I charged service fees. I charged fees on every single package out there. And yet 2 blocks down the street on the same side of the street was an agency that didn't charge any. So when clients would give me a hard pushback about it, I would say, "You know what? You're welcome to. They're just 2 blocks down. By all means, please go and help yourself." And they did. And the following year when they were ready to book, they didn't go back to the agency that didn't charge fees. They came back to me because they wanted what I offered, and they realized that that was a premium service that they were willing to pay for. Another common one I hear is, "I don't know enough. How on earth can I possibly ask people to pay me when I just simply don't know enough?" Well, I hate to be the one that breaks it to you, but when it comes to travel, you're never going to know it all. And in fact, over the years, when I was training my team of sales advisors, I would tell them, the moment you think you know it all, there's the door. You got to get out because everything is always changing. Now, if you're brand new, please don't panic. There is ways to combat that. There is ways to get ahead of that and ways for that not to be as doomsday as that sounds. But the reality is things are always changing. There's always going to be a new world conflict. There's always going to be a new disease or virus or something else that goes around. There's always going to be Mother Nature. There's always going to be things that are going to keep us on our toes. I started after 9/11, but many of my colleagues that I worked with over the years were all deep in the thick of it during 9/11. I have worked through SARS, I've worked through Zika, I've worked through H1N1, and so many others. There's always going to be something that's going to change. And when the rules change, everything else changes. We have countries that get along, and then we have countries that suddenly decide they're not going to. These are all things that are completely outside of our control. The next one, of course, is that if I do, I'm not competitive enough. My pricing isn't competitive. Well, if you focus entirely on pricing, you're never going to be competitive enough because there will always be somebody somewhere who is cheaper. There will always be something that costs less. And if your only unique selling proposition is that you're the cheapest, you've already lost the game because there's only a race to the bottom when you're competing on price. If price is the number one reason why you can't work or you can't charge service fees, then I really encourage you to look at what your model is because I can't see how that's going to offer you anything other than a lot of frustration and negativity and even resentment because you're going to find yourself constantly quoting for people, putting out proposals only to have them go and book with Costco or go and have them book online or go and have them book somebody else. The best thing I ever did in my business was got away from competing on the price. The energy that came with those price-driven clients brought me down so far that it took away from everything I was able to offer to everybody else. I don't need to. The suppliers pay me. This one's a really common one. But at the same time, this one's also a double-edged sword. See, I've been in the travel industry long enough to see where our commissions have gone over the years. I've seen where we've had suppliers that pay phenomenal commissions only to now have them go down to charge or paying absolutely zero. That is not a way of being able to build out your business if you are relying solely on supplier commissions. Okay, so let's get into what it is that allows us to enhance this experience for our clients. So, first and foremost, your clients aren't worried about the hidden fees. I don't know about you, but when I buy things and something feels a little too good to be true, it makes my spidey senses go up. And yet I see travel advisors, it doesn't cost a thing to work with me. So what does that mean to the consumer? Like, I want you to remove yourself from that piece of marketing and put yourself entirely into the consumer's position. How does that make you feel? Does that make you start wondering, that feels a little too good to be true. I'm confused. I don't get it. Who works for free? Why would somebody do that? And all of the other questions that come along with it. There's so many hidden fees in things we buy on a day-to-day basis. If you've bought a television, now I don't know about where you live, but where I live, if you buy a television or any sort of an appliance, there's automatically a recycling fee that goes on top of that. And then they're going to offer you a warranty fee. My favorite was a few years back, I had bought a DVD player. Yes, when we still use those all the time. But it was like 1995 and they're like, "Would you like to put the warranty on it?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "It's only 39.95." I'm like, "Well, how about I just go buy 2 more DVD players rather than paying for the warranty?" But the thing is that became my choice. But there was hidden fees. There's enviro fees. I remember, Walmart once clearing out they had, like and it was like the box style televisions, but it was small, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be perfect for my bedroom." This was, a number of years ago. It was on for $10. The recycling fee, however, was $30. So, when people are buying things, they're always worried about what else are they going to do. Don't even get me started about buying a car. I don't know what it's like in your area, but if you buy one from the dealership, then they tack on doc fees, is what they call it. The fees to issue the documents. And where I am, it's upwards of $400 to $600 for them to fill out the papers for you to buy the product that they're already making money on. They did not have to do the research. They did not have to continue to manage it afterwards. They did not have to do anything other than simply get me to say yes. And when I go into a dealership, I already have a really good idea of what I want. Now, some of you might be saying, but that's how it is for my clients. They already know what they want and this, that, the other. Okay, that's one way of doing it. But when I drive off the lot with that brand new car, there is nothing else. If I drive off the lot with that old beat up clunker, there is nothing else. There is no warranty that comes with that clunker. Trust me, they're going to try and sell me a warranty of some sort, which is another upsell that they're doing. But all they did was fill out the document and then say goodbye. When you're selling travel, you are helping those clients from the moment they encounter your sphere right through till they get back and beyond. But you're going to keep an eye out because unlike selling a car, you have a world that's ever evolving, ever changing. Conflict and crisis could pop up at any time. We could have a hurricane come through and suddenly a trip to the Caribbean or Mexico has got to be canceled. Maybe there's some sort of political strife and that's going to reroute things. You are going to spend time looking after them. Heaven forbid something happened to one of their family members, or they trip and fall and break a leg and they can't travel. You are there not just for the purchase, but for everything else that goes with it. People are craving clarity and the knowledge that they're making the right choice. For years, we've all talked about FOMO, the fear of missing out. Well, that's been replaced with FOMO, the fear of messing up. When we let our clients know that, yes, I charge this fee so that because I'm able to ensure that I'm able to give you the best possible experience, not just looking for the commissionable products. To me, that was the biggest game changer for my clients. Because here's the scoop, your clients are already skeptical. If you're not charging a fee, they're not quite sure how they're getting paid or how you're getting paid. So they've kind of, even if they're like, oh, that's a great deal, they still got that little voice in the back of their head saying, something doesn't feel right. But when you tell your clients, you know what, I actually, in order to work with me, I do charge a fee. This is how much my fee is. And the reason why I charge the fee is so that I'm able to look at all products, not just commissionable products. And instead, I'm able to choose the very best product for you, for what you're looking for, irregardless of whether or not a supplier is going to compensate me on the back end. Unlike other travel advisors who are held to commissionable only products so that they can get paid, I'm able to look at all options for you. And I get it. Maybe you're sitting on the other side of this screen right now and you're thinking, well, I don't do that. But I'm going to tell you, there is an awful lot of travel advisors who do that. I'm in those Facebook groups when somebody says, I need this amazing company that does XYZ. And travel advisors will be like, I have amazing results with this. Yes, but they don't charge commission. I'm going to need somebody who charges commission. So, right there, we have lowered the quality of the experience our clients are going to get because it's got to be a commissionable product. Not everything in our business, not everything in our world is commissionable. In fact, did you know back in the original era of travel advisors, travel agents, there was no commission? Suppliers started adding in commission because they knew the only distribution model out there was through the travel agency world. And so they started adding in commission in order to be able to capture the attention of travel agents. Now, as time has gone on and the invention of the internet, that distribution model has changed. And therefore, they have the ability to work directly with the client. And as a result, we've started to see those commissions get eroded. Now, obviously, the travel agency world is vibrant and powerful, but that does not mean that we are the only way in which clients buy. We are still producing the largest share of all of the sales, but it doesn't mean that the suppliers aren't going to continue to cut commission. When you're tied to just getting commission, it also means that the feelings of resentment can really surface because then what happens if the client cancels before a certain time? And look at that, your commission's gone. You've done all this work and all the commission's been recalled, or the commission didn't even get paid out. I myself had a while not too terribly long ago. The clients, they've been clients for years and years and years. They were one of the main reasons I held on to continuing to sell travel. But now they've hit a point where they're not able to. They were booked on a river cruise. They did 2 per year. And we were getting to a point, they were now both well into their 80s. The insurance, the typical insurance we do was really quite significant. Actually, I believe the one had crossed over 85. So we had gone with the cruise lines insurance. We were at full payment, but I believe it was at a 25% penalty with this insurance. So they got all but 25% back. No, actually, they got all but the non refundables, which was their airfare back. And with that, the cruise line did not pay out commission, even though they were only 30 days prior to departure. They did not pay out the commission, which, if you're familiar with a river cruise, is significant. They did not even pay out the commission on the trip protection plan, if you will. Had I not charged them a fee, can you imagine the resentment that would have come along with that? There's so many things in travel that can leave us feeling frustrated and resentful and other such. The number one thing we can control is when we charge fees, we're guaranteed to get paid. And finally, of course, it establishes your authority. Your clients know that they're dealing with a professional. When you charge a fee, it shifts the perception. Your client can't and won't see any more value in you than you see. So if you don't put a value to what it is you do, then why would your clients see a value in you? If they see it as they don't have to pay you because you're the same price as anywhere else, it lowers the amount of work that they believe you have to do for them. And therefore, it increases the likelihood that they're going to bounce from one option to another option to another option, looking for the best deal. But ultimately, if you don't believe in your value, if you don't believe you're worth more than just the commission you're getting, why or how will your clients? When you operate entirely on commission, you run the risk of having that dreaded commission breath. What if you were actually repelling clients? You know, we always hear that you're going to push clients away if you charge fees. What if you were pushing clients away because you don't? What if your clients are so caught up in the idea of, well, if I'm not paying you, how are you getting paid? Oh, I'm going to have to pay more than I should have to. Oh, yeah, no. It does not compute in the modern day world. Clients are always going to wonder, where's the money coming from? And it also tends to lead to that advisor who has that little bit more of a tendency to really and truly be driven by the commission. I myself have seen it. If one supplier is going to pay 8% and one supplier is going to pay 18%, which one do you think an advisor that's not getting commission is going to push? Well, if they've got any sort of a business sense where they want to make money, they're going to push the 18%. And I've seen it time and time again. Earlier, as I was mentioning, when we're in the Facebook groups and somebody's like, I need this, I need somebody to do XYZ. Well, this one doesn't pay commission. Well, then I can't use them. Doesn't matter that they were the better option. I get it. It can be so hard to have that conversation. But your clients want to know that they're dealing with somebody who's a professional. You're not just asking them to buy a tube of mascara or a pair of shoes. You are asking them to invest thousands of dollars, in some cases, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in a vacation. If you don't feel as though you're worthy of a fee, I want you to ask yourself, what is the perception you're putting out there? Are you putting out an energy saying that you are comfortable with money, that you can absolutely confidently process hundreds of thousands of dollars? Because if when everything's said and done, the question is, do they even know how to spend that kind of money? You want to make sure that you're getting those clients if that's the type of client you want to be attracting. Fees don't have to be massive to get started. In fact, here's a challenge for you. I would love to know, if you're not already charging fees, could you charge $10 a person? Could somebody pay you $10 a person to work with you? Now, if the answer is no, I want you to do a lot of really deep soul searching to ask, is this the right kind of client to want to work with? If they don't even think you're worth $10, heck, I think if you buy something on Ticketmaster right now, it costs you more than that to issue a ticket. But if you're not worth $10 to them, should they be worth your time? Because I know firsthand the energy and the effort that you're going to put forward for these clients. And if they're not willing to pay you $10, then do you really want to work with them? Now, if the answer is yes, I want you to ask yourself, would they be worth $20? And if that answer is yes, I want you to go to 40, then to 80, and keep climbing until you get to the point of, ooh, I don't know. And then I want you to pick a number between the one that says, I don't know, and the one that's like, yeah, they would totally do that. Pick a number in the middle there, and that's where you start. And then there's so many different ways about how do I increase and things like that. There's so many different ways of looking at it. Maybe it's after so many clients or after so many bookings, you're going to increase your fees. Maybe you're going to do it based on how many days they're going to be gone. There's so many different ways. But to me, the first step is actually charging. So if the idea of charging fees scares you spitless, but you're excited to bring in more money in your business, I want you to choose the excitement. I want you to choose the excitement to know that when you charge a fee, you're no longer held to just the commissionable products. Now, if you get an opportunity to mark them up, still mark them up. But you're no longer held to just that commissionable option. It gives you so many more opportunities to make your client's trip better. I then want you to also think about the type of client you want to attract. Because if you're wanting to attract a luxury client and they're not willing to pay you $10, I'm going to tell you, they're not luxury. But the other thing is if you're wanting to attract a luxury client, I believe your fee needs to be in alignment with the type of expectation that they're looking for. And a $10 fee is not going to attract them in any way, shape, or form. So I want you to really have a deep look at the type of client you want to work with, the type of client you want to attract, and make sure that your fees are completely aligned with that. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me at The Art of Selling Travel on Instagram or on Facebook, or The Art of Selling Travel podcast is where I drop weekly episodes. Until then, you have a fabulous rest of your day. and happy selling. Isn't technology awesome? I love that I get to be able to give keynotes just like this on a virtual setting or in person. But here's the thing, I want to know what you think about this episode. Go ahead, hit me up in the DMs over on Instagram. And if you're ready to up level your experience with service fees, head on over to artofsellingtravel.com/fees. I'm going to go ahead, link that up in the show notes because it's so important that you master the art of selling your service fee. When you can own your fees, own your worth, own what it is that you're bringing to the table, everything changes in your business. If you're ready to start charging fees or ready to increase the fees that you're already charging, head on over to artofsellingtravel.com/fees. We'll catch you next time. Happy selling.